What type of guys do you find attractive?
Now I don't care black or white, just good person. I like Thai people before, Thai men. So after then I meet with someone, is he black and he good. So after I come to black, so I cannot go out from black.
The current crisis facing boys and men. Boys are less likely to graduate from high school and college than girls. 1 in 7 men report having no friends. And men account for 3 of every 4 deaths of despair in America.
And quite frankly, put more money in their pockets. We've had tax and fiscal policies for the last 40 years that have made my generation, on average, 72% wealthier than we were 40 years ago, and people under the age of 40, 24% less wealthy. So what do you have? 60% of 30-year-olds used to have 1 child in the house 40 years ago. Now it's 27%. So we have they're up against technology, trying to separate them from their friends, make them less mammalia. We have fiscal policies, quite frankly, making them less wealthy. And then we have social media reminding them 210 times a day that they're failing.
I'm never going to pity a man when it comes to a woman using him for money, because you can always make more money.
At this point, we're used to Scott Galloway periodically coming out and telling us that the state of young men in America is getting progressively worse. And with each time that it comes out, he has more angst and he has a more passionate appeal, and he goes around to all of the different stations and tries to convince people to care about something because, quite simply put, he knows that that's something that they need to be worried about, because if you don't fix the problem now of unproductive men with no passion in life, you're going to have a bigger problem later.
And what do you know? They wake up at 30, they're more obese, anxious, and depressed. And if we don't, my generation has a debt. We'd recognize America from 1955 to 2000 garnered 1/3 of the world's growth with 5% of the population. And then within that 5%, 30% of us who were born white heterosexual males got the majority of that prosperity. So there's a natural gag reflex when I start talking and advocating for young men. But the reality is, my advantage, my privilege, they should not have to pay the price for it.
Of course, this is something that we've heard before from Scott Galloway, along with other things like,
men need relationships. They need it more than women. There's this cartoon of a woman in her 30s who didn't find romantic love and is now living with cats. The reality is she's fine. Yeah. When women don't have a relationship, they pour that energy into their friends and their work. When a man doesn't have a relationship, he pours it into conspiracy theory and misogyny. Where the moment a boy comes off the tracks, which is typically when he loses a male role model, at that point, he is more likely to be incarcerated than graduate from college, whereas girls in single-parent homes have the same outcomes. It ends up that boys, while being physically stronger, are emotionally and neurologically much weaker. 45% of men 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. Wow. Men need relationships much more than women, so this is how we get men more economically viable. Better tax policies, more vocational programming, and also, I think the public policy that would benefit men the most is universal child care. We need to redshirt young boys. They're just less mature. And you're going to see as you get older, my 15-year-old has a party. The boys are dopes. Some of the 15-year-old girls could be the junior senator from Pennsylvania. The greatest level of self-harm, the zone of quote-unquote suicide for a man, is the year after he's divorced. And the greatest cause of divorce is not a lack of values. It's not infidelity. It's economic strain. And we also have to acknowledge a basic reality. 75% of women say that economic viability is important in a mate. Only 25% of men state that. Beyonce could work at McDonald's and marry Jay-Z. The other way would not happen. So when you have the pool, men mate socioeconomically horizontally and down, women horizontally and up. And when the pool of horizontal and up, in other words, economically and emotionally viable men, keep shrinking, we have less household formation. We have a debt, but we cannot hold young men accountable for my privilege.
When you hear Scott Galloway speak, he has to be very careful, especially when he goes on shows like The View, because there's a natural slant to the patriarchy and the fact that men are born with a level of privilege. And so he can't outright say that in today's modern environment, many young women have many distinct advantages over men simply because of programs and things that have been put into place to make sure that schools and the environment, work-wise, etc., even getting into college, have been favorable to women to the point where you look at the college statistics, that just doesn't happen by happenstance. If 2 out of every 3 students on college campuses now are women, then you basically have an educational system that is tilted toward women, point blank, period. But in this situation, the young ladies watching these TikToks and this response to Scott Galloway basically pleading for young men to have some grace from society is not getting very much grace at all. As a matter of fact, you can see in the responses that young ladies are simply saying, hey, listen, it is not my job to care.
So red shirts start kids in kindergarten at 6. Get more men involved in K through 12, where 70 to 80% are women who are naturally going to champion people who remind them of themselves. Boys need more male role models.
Anyone else tired of hearing what men need? While I appreciate that this is a serious issue for young men, as a woman, I'm a little tired to hear once again that men need more. Who set this system up? And how is this our fault or on us to fix?
Men need relationships much more than women. A widow is happier after her husband dies. A widower is less happy. Women in relationships live 2 to 4 years longer. Men in relationships 4 to 7 years longer. The zone of self-harm and suicide for a man is the year after he gets divorced, when he loses primary relationship. And what is the reason, the biggest cause for divorce amongst young people? It's financial strain. We need to put more money in their pockets. We need an education system that restores sort of bias or fixes the bias for women. And we basically need to level up all young people, which will disproportionately help young men.
He's always blaming women for men. Meanwhile, men can peacefully walk around the world and just be. Men can decide to fix themselves. Sounds like a them problem to me. Yes, exactly. We need to coddle men even more. It's not enough that they have all the privileges. We can't expect them to be decent human beings all on their own. We must do more for them. I'm not seeing a lot of sympathy there from the other sex, Mr. Galloway.
I want to be you for Halloween.
He wanted to be his daddy, clown ass.
So you dressed my son up as a clown?
And did, because that's what he wanted to be, just like his daddy. He admired you so much.
That's bogus, man. You don't do no kids like that,
Your
man.
son loved you. He wanted to be you.
Because AI videos are getting so good these days, it's very difficult to tell the truth from ones that are actual videos. I will say with a disclaimer that this may in fact be an AI video, so it only can be a representation of what many fathers are going through, if indeed it is that. If it's not an AI video, then we'll take it at face value. All of that said, it's a representation of what many men are dealing with when you're having a child, in this case a son, with a woman who essentially doesn't like men very much, doesn't respect men very much.
All right, ready? One side. All right, ready? You can say thank you.
Well, I didn't know you were born man.
No, she didn't.
I'm not sure if Scott Galloway understands that we're in an environment now where young ladies are having a legitimate discussion on if they're embarrassed or not to post their boyfriends, their loved ones on social media, sometimes even husbands. And so in this environment, it's pretty clear that many young ladies simply don't have a very strong affection for men in general. And so let's say that you do something that raises the fortunes of men to the point where more and more young ladies would like to have children with them. Are they going to value those sons in a way that's going to raise healthy sons? Or are we going to see more relationships like we saw with the possibly AI picture where once she gets the son and she has the leverage, she's going to use him as a pawn? And well, there's an answer for this. And I think Passport Bros have already found it.
What type of guys do you find attractive?
Now I don't care black or white, just good person. I like Thai people before, Thai men. So after then I meet with someone, is he black and he good. So after I come to black, so I cannot go out from back.
Me personally, I have a weak spot for young ladies that speak broken English like that. It's so cute to me. It just gets me every time. But there's something really specific that she says in this interview that I think is key for guys that are thinking about what kind of women they want to have as boy moms. We often speak about girl dads, but what kind of mom is going to be the one that's going to fight for her son, that's going to go to the school and say, you need to do something that is the best for my son to get a good education, not you need to do whatever is necessary so that my son sits still. Someone that's going to fight for his future. Listen to her very closely.
You can go back if you want. The first black guy you had, how did you guys meet? Do you remember?
He from Japan, military, so we have relationship. So we live together.
Like before you met the first black guy, did you ever see yourself dating a foreigner?
No, because before I not live in Bangkok, so when I come to Bangkok, I start know more people. So that's why I start to talk with foreigners sometimes, but I still date with Thai men before.
What do you like the most in your past relationship? Like what was the most amazing thing?
He kind, respect, and smell good.
How was it like living with your foreign boyfriend for 1 year?
It's good, and also different culture, and sometimes fight, but everything be fine because I'm learn from him many things. Because I'm learn from him many things. Because I'm learn from him many things about life and language and many things.
Do you have Instagram?
Ali Daki.
I left the Instagram part in there, so if you want to go simp, be my guest. But what she said about learning from him is something that I don't think that I've heard very recently. I don't think that many of the young ladies that we see on Instagram will be honest and say that they learn anything from their boyfriends. They would simply say that they tolerate their boyfriends, that they're doing all of this invisible labor, that they didn't get anything out of the relationship, and so that the man had to essentially pay her because she was wasting her time or losing her best years in that relationship. But when you hear this young lady say that she learned something from a guy, I guess they're not dating anymore, it just shows a different mindset. And as much as Scott Galloway is talking about what guys want in terms of relationships, what happens when you actually get the relationship he's talking about? What happens if you get the family? You get the kids, you get the boy. And what happens in that relationship statistically in America when that boy starts encountering trouble or there is some financial trouble? Many times that woman is going to take that boy and yank him away from the father, and you're going to be in the position that many men have found themselves in, fighting for a chance to see their boy a little bit. And the boy is still going through all of the issues that Scott Galloway is talking about. The better question, in my opinion, that we can ask is, does America have enough boy moms? Does America have enough women that want to raise boys? Because anytime you look at the comment sections from these videos, you'll see a woman that says, I have a boy, but, or I would normally agree with you, but I have a boy. As opposed to saying, we need strong boys because we need strong male leadership in our country. It's almost forbidden to say that. And so for Scott Galloway, the simple question is, where are guys going to get their boy moms from? But Passport Bros already know the answer to that question. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.